whatever time of day you're watching this. Welcome back to another episode of Hitch-Hikers Guide to the League. The finals ended over a week ago, but better late than never, so we here. Well, if you're a casual NBA fan, or just an NBA fan in general, and you need to know what's going on, you need a quick update, quick overview, this is the place to be. Hitch-Hikers Guide to the League. If you want to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the above would be much appreciated. Leave a comment as well. Sorry for the bugs. I'm in my backyard. Got to get a little ambiance, I don't want to be in my kitchen. It's not very, doesn't have a lot of ambiance, so we out here. All right. So I'm going to do something new. I'm going to do some movie recommendations because I watched a couple fire movies recently, and then y'all give me some movie recommendations in the comments, all right? So my recommendations are Children of Men, banger, one of the best movies I've ever seen. Watched it twice within like a month. It was so good. And then last week I watched Princess Mononoke, Studio Ghibli film. Fire. Definitely check those two out. Give me some movies in the comments. I'd appreciate that. All right, on to basketball. So, if you didn't already know, the Boston Celtics are your 2024 NBA champions, aka world champions. So, it was a pretty anticlimactic ending. I was very, very disappointed when it ended. Like, immediately after, after Game 3, I was speechless. I was very upset. After Game 5, I was upset, but throughout this last week, I've kind of come to terms with the Celtics winning. It's not all bad. It's not my favorite, but could be worse. Actually, I don't really know if it probably could be worse, but it's all right. We live with it. Can't change the past. So, I don't hate the Celtics. I like to say I hate the Celtics because I'm a Lakers fan. So it's like, fuck Boston. So like, but like it's not that deep. It's not that deep. I just don't really mess with Tatum like that. I think he's very overrated, and I think the media hypes him up, and they're trying to make him like the face of the NBA, and he's just not that good. He's just not that guy. He's definitely like obviously a very good like fringe top 5, definitely top 10 player, but he's not the face of the league yet at all. So I'll give him some time, but as of right now, no. If it was any other team, I wouldn't be as upset. Besides maybe like the Warriors, that would suck if the Warriors won another ring. So but they're done. I hope. I'll go into depth later. Why I came to terms with the Celtics winning the chip. But as of right now, I'm just gonna do a little like overview of the games. Because in episode 1, I went over games 1 and 2. Episode 4. My bad. Last episode. So episode 5, I'm doing 3, 4, and 5, and then I'm going more in depth into like what it means and just like the situation and just the landscape of the league after the Celtics win. So game 3, Boston wins 106-99. Boston takes a 3-0 lead. That was devastating. That was kind of like, oh well, it's over. Like, Luka sucks, Kyrie sucks, Boston's too good. Obviously they kind of changed it, kind of helped that they won game 4, but we'll get there. So the Mavs had a 22-2 run in the fourth quarter to make it a 1-point game. So it was a relatively interesting game. 1-point game with 3.5 minutes, but Luka fouled out with 4 minutes left in the game. It was his first career playoff foul out. It came at the worst possible time, so then Kyrie had to take on that load, the clutch time offensive load. And he did well with what it was, but obviously he could not get the job done. So, dang. Jaylen Brown had 30 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 12 for 22 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. Tatum had 31 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 11 for 26 from the field, 4 for 13 from 3-point. Derek White had 16, 5 and 4, 4 for 9 from 3. Derek White was a sniper all series. I mean, he's a sniper in general, so not surprised. And he had 2 blocks, too. As I said last episode, Derek White, best shot-blocking guard in the NBA, no question. I can't even think of another person that is better than him right now. And then Drew had 9, Hauser had 9, Horford had 8. So just overall, good team effort. But this was probably the best game that Tatum and Brown as a duo played in this series. They honestly did not have a great series like themselves. Like, obviously the Celtics had a fantastic series. They just washed the Mavericks. But as a superstar standpoint, they didn't blow anyone out of the water. Obviously, Kristaps Porzingis did not play, so the fact that the Mavericks couldn't win that and capitalize on that injury was brutal. I had a little fun fact. I was looking at the advanced stats. Sam Hauser was plus 73 net rating, which I thought was hilarious because he only played 14 minutes, and in those 14 minutes, they just went on a big run, and then he comes out as the Mavericks go on a huge run. So it's just obviously super inflated, but I just thought that was hilarious. He had a plus 73 net rating. I think Tatum had like a negative net rating in the same game, which is funny. So on the Mavs side, Luka had 27 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 11 for 27 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. He did not shoot great from 3 in this series. Kyrie had 35 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 13 for 28 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3. P.J. Washington had 13. Derek Lively had 11 points and 13 rebounds. Adding on to those advanced stats that I was looking at, Luka and Lively were the only players with positive net ratings on the Mavericks in Game 3. And then Luka fouled out. So, yeah, that really hurt them. The game was over when he fouled out, in my opinion. And the teams had almost identical stats, but the Celtics just had the slight edge, and obviously were able to take it. So, Celtics went up 3-0. That's Game 3. On to Game 4. The Mavs are desperate. They're in Dallas. And somehow they just blow the Celtics out 122-84. Just like it wasn't a game. It wasn't a game at all. All 4 quarters was just a blowout. No chance of even having entertaining basketball. So they were facing elimination and just came out firing, which they said they would do. So props to them. I'm glad they didn't get swept. That would have looked horrible. But it was the largest win for the losing team in the finals ever. So that's kind of crazy. Like, that just doesn't happen. They won by almost 40 points in a series. They got gentlemen swept. That is unheard of. It's so weird. But obviously did not matter. I've said that like 5 times. Jaylen Brown had 10 points. JT had 15. Drew had 10. Hauser had 14. Pritch had 11. Those were kind of like garbage time stats, so those don't really paint a good picture. Kristaps Porzingis did not play. The game was just a huge blowout, so like half the fourth quarter. Tim Hardaway Jr. hit 5 threes in a row. That was electric. That was the Mavs single-game playoff 3-point record, I believe. And there was a lot of memes about that on Twitter. If you missed them, it was hilarious. Tim Hardaway Jr. kind of sucks. Been sucking all season, sucked all playoffs. Goes out while they're up 30 points and hits 5 straight threes for no reason. Did not matter, but it was awesome. Luka had 29 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 12 for 26 from the field. I swear to God, he shoots 12 for 26 from the field like every game. It's just that same stat line, same shooting percentage. 0 for 8 from 3 again in a 40-point blowout. Didn't hit a single three-pointer. He had 3 steals, though. He was active on defense. Kyrie had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 for 18 from the field. Lively, 11 points, 12 rebounds, and he hit a 3, his first 3 of the season, I believe, and it was like a silky, smooth-looking corner 3 in the beginning of the game. So that kind of boosts his potential a lot if he's able to hit that outside shot. as a rookie too. Dude, Lively was awesome. Lively is fantastic for the Mavericks this year. So Exum had 10. Tim Hardaway Jr. 15 points, all 3-pointers. Dallas led in. They just blew him out in every statistical category except free throws. As I said last episode, the Mavericks were the worst free throw shooting team in the playoffs. That was a huge factor. They probably could have stolen a game or two, an extra game or two in the finals. I don't know about two, but they definitely could have at least stolen one more game if they hit all their free throws. So that was definitely a huge factor that they got to figure it out next season for sure. The Celtics just didn't look like they were trying at all in Game 4. It almost looked like they intentionally lost Game 4 in Dallas so they could go back home and win it in 5. Because, who doesn't want to win on their home floor? It's always lame when when they win on the away court in front of just a bunch of, the opposing fans. And, it's just better vibes when it's the confetti's coming down. It's so much cooler. Regardless if it is Boston or not. Obviously it was Boston, so it was not as cool. But it's all right. Game 5. Sorry, I keep going way ahead. Sorry. Come back. Mavs won Game 4. Celtics up 3-1. Game 5 in Boston. Celtics win 106-88. Was that the same score as Game 3? Oh, okay, never mind. 106-99 Game 3. Sorry, not even close. So the Celtics obviously are going to raise their 18th banner, which unfortunately breaks the tie with the Los Angeles Lakers. But the Celtics got a lot of dusty banners, from pre-segregation era. It's like a joke. It's hard to count those when it was 80 years ago? That come on, bro. Bill Russell, legend. 9 rings in a row, dude, with 10 teams in the league. Come on. Lakers are still the best franchise ever. Everyone knows it. But in Game 5, elimination game, JT had 31 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, 11 for 24 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. Those were slightly inflated just because he kind of, sort of stat padded at the end, I hate to say it, but it didn't matter regardless because Jaylen Brown still won Finals MVP. JB had 21, 8 and 6, 7 for 23 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. Excuse me. Drew had 15, 11 and 4, 7 for 14 from the field, 4 offensive rebounds. Derek White, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 for 8 from 3, sniper per usual. 4 offensive rebounds for Derek White as well, including 2 steals and 1 block. Drew and D. White, man, they are demons. Absolute demons on the offensive glass and on defense. They do the dirty work better than anyone. They're just a nightmare for any opposing guards, any opposing backcourt. They're just hounding them. They're just doing everything right and aggressive, and it's just, impossible. When you have Luka Doncic, big tubby, he's not gonna, he's the least hustle player out there, and he has Derek White and Drew Holiday running around. They're not gonna win that game. And then Horford contributed 9, Hauser 8, KP 5. So KP did play a little bit. I think he played 16 minutes, but it didn't matter a ton. And then the Mavs, Luka had 28 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 12 for 25. Oh, 1 off, 12 for 26, so close. 2 for 9 from 3, same thing, just not a super efficient, high-volume shooter in the playoffs. He was banged up. He also had 7 turnovers. As I just mentioned, he was getting hounded by Drew, JB, and Derek White. So that is just an awful matchup. He was going through hell this series. So hopefully, Luka in the future gets a healthier, better, less hellish matchup in the finals where he can capitalize. Because I do not believe this was the best version of Luka Doncic that we will see in the finals. He was clearly injured. He was taking pain injections all series. There was a graphic in one of the earlier series. It was Luka Doncic is questionable tonight with right knee, sore back, sore left elbow. It was like a joke. It's like at that point, don't even put the graphic up there. Just shoot him up with some painkillers and throw him out there. And that's what they did. So props to Luka. You got to feel bad for the guy, but, fuck it, we ball. Kyrie had 15, 3 and 9. 5 for 16 from the field, 3 for 9 from 3. Kyrie just couldn't get it going in Boston. He was getting clamped. I think I saw a stat, and he averaged like maybe 14 points per game in Boston, which is just not good for a second option on a championship team. That's not going to be good. Josh Green had 14. Derek Jones Jr. had 10. So, yeah, the Celtics win the championship pretty easily. They didn't even have Kristaps for like the majority of the playoffs, and they still just steamrolled their way through. They went 16-3. That's like 2018 Warriors numbers. Like, we haven't seen that type of dominance in a while, to be honest. Unfortunate that it had to come from the Boston Celtics. But, their roster is just impeccable. I can't say enough about the defense of Drew, JB, and Derek White. They were phenomenal. That's going to be an insanely tough matchup for any guard in the NBA. So really, this was inevitable. We were all just waiting on it. We were just denying it. I was denying it as hard as I could. I was saying, the Denver Nuggets are going to win the championship. And obviously, you look where that went. They just got bounced in the second round. But Jaylen Brown won Finals MVP, which was definitely deserved, but kind of surprised me why. Like right after Game 5, when they were announcing it, because Jason Tatum had like 31 and 11 in Game 5, so I thought since he stat padded, he has technically better stats, they were going to give it to him. I'm glad they didn't. Give it to JB. Definitely deserving. He averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists in the series on 44% shooting and had 1.6 steals per game. Tatum had a better box score stat line with 22, 8, and 7, but he only shot 37% from the field, which is pretty bad. He is not a good high volume shooter in the finals. I don't remember what exactly his NBA Finals shooting percentage is, but I think it might be the lowest of all time for a player with minimum 150 attempts. So, yeah, he kind of gets bailed out. No, JB was so much better on the defensive end, just disrupting Luka and Kyrie. At one point, JB was so disruptive and just hounding Luka so much that P.J. Washington had to take the ball up, and there was multiple possessions in Game 5 where P.J. Washington thought he's a point guard, drives to the hole, and just like slips and ball goes loose. It's like Jason Tatum guarding him. It's like P.J. Washington, you're not going to ISO ball score on Jason Tatum in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. I'm sorry, that's just not going to work. But yeah, Boston Celtics, NBA champions, Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP, deserved in my opinion. Hopefully you guys can't hear those sirens. Those are really loud. They're coming for me, man. Shit. All right. That was way, way, way too loud. It was like a whole armada. God damn. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. All right. I don't hate the Celtics winning the chip now, as it's settled in. They were going to win a chip sooner or later with this team, so they deserve it with the way that their season went. They played phenomenal all year. Best roster in the NBA, undoubted. And Tatum and Brown played 107 playoff games together before winning the chip. But they played a lot of games to get here. They've been in the playoffs every single year of their careers. Those two guys have never missed the playoffs, and they've made the conference finals 6 times. So this is inevitable. It's been a long time coming. Like it's not awful because they're there every single year. So they deserve it sooner or later. And honestly, the Finals MVP race was relatively close just compared to previous years. Because, like, in just recent memory, we haven't had a closer Finals MVP race since, like, 2015 when Iguodala won it over Curry, which I still think Curry should have won. But, yeah, like, because we got, like, Jokic, Giannis, Kawhi, KD, Bron, Curry in 22, Bron in 16, GOAT. Yeah, unrelated, sorry. But the Boston Celtics this season are statistically, the most well-rounded, balanced team to win a championship ever. And that is true. The number 1 player on the Boston Celtics compared to the number 5 player, their starting lineup, their margin of, like, effective, like, blah, 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 some advanced stat, is the closest. Their top 5 is the closest it's ever been in, like, championship history. Because every single year you get, like, LeBron and then, like, J.R. Smith or something. But, like, this year it's like, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, or Kristaps. Like, they're all just right there. So, the most well-rounded, balanced team, championship team in NBA history. So you got to give them props for that. Truly, truly a team effort, not just the superstars. And that says a lot about the team itself, but also the management and the coaching. I got to give a shout out to Brad Stevens for sure. Indiana legend. Shout out Chuck B. That's Chuck B's guy. Just GM masterclass here. I know Danny Ainge was the GM before him and kind of set him up for success. Not at the time. Okay, well I'll go over it briefly. So you know what? I'm gonna get to that in a second. I got that written down here. I'm gonna get to that later. That's okay. Yeah, props to Brad Stevens. He's him. Props to Joe Mazzulla. He's also him. Fantastic coach. I know he has the best roster in the NBA, but he still found a way to maximize the team's potential, even with the best roster. Even without KP, steamrolled their way through the playoffs. So definitely props to Joe Mazzulla. He's a fantastic coach. No hate there. I don't mind Joe Mazzulla. I think he's funny. I think he's a goofy dude. No hate there. So if the Celtics keep their roster for next year, it really just depends if Derek White stays or not. I can imagine he wants to stay, but depending on the money, because it is a contract year for him, so he's going to get paid. And the Celtics are going to have to pay him. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're going to have to pay him a lot because he is a super valuable asset. If you're any NBA GM or coach, you want Derek White in your team. He's just that guy. So we'll see how that plays out. But if this team did not win a ring, or Tatum and Brown never win a ring, they would just be eternally shit on for the rest of time. And I don't think that's good because they are genuinely a very good duo. One of the best duos in recent history. So they deserve a ring. It's fine. Luka's still 25. It's his first finals. He was banged up. He'll be back. I hope. We'll see. He'll be back. Yeah. Just trust. Yeah. So, I was listening to the State of the League podcast. I don't know if you guys know that. My new favorite podcast at the moment, because apparently JJ Redick is not, JJ Redick is not doing his podcast anymore, because obviously he's the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, which is sick. I'm super excited about that. Can't wait for that. That's my boy JJ. Proud of you, bro. You're doing great things, man. I'm going to miss you on the podcast, though. All right. In all seriousness, though, State of the League, it's by Jokic Joestar. His name is Jack. And then Pablo Escobar. It's pretty small, but yeah, you can just search him up on YouTube or whatever. They got a lot of good stuff going on there, though. And they were saying that this win for the Celtics continues to set a good precedent for the NBA, just the way that the teams are built, and the way that the game is played in general. Celtics are a relatively homegrown, tenured team. Like, they drafted JB and JT. They've been there for almost a decade. They made super smart, timely trades. They gave up Marcus Smart and Rob Williams for Drew and KP, and that just fit the puzzle and got them a chip this year. So you really can't hate it. It is low-key a super team, but like it's not egregious like Kevin Durant in 2018, 17, 16, same thing, doesn't matter. And they also play like relatively ethical ball. They shoot a lot of three-pointers, but they pass the ball a lot. They swing the rock. Everyone gets touches. Everyone touches the ball. Everyone's scoring. So it honestly is not bad basketball to watch. Just kind of stinks that it's Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics. Yeah. Oh well. But all right. So now I'll explain the Celtics GM and roster building sitch. So 2013 they trade Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry to the Brooklyn Nets, and that's like a blockbuster trade. Like, oh my God, they're trading away two of their best players in franchise history for like a bunch of future draft picks and like some bums. And everyone's like, oh, the Nets fleeced them, like worst fleece of the century. When in reality, it was like completely the opposite. Boston Celtics absolutely fleeced the Nets. So Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry ended up retiring within the next 2 or 3 seasons, or Paul Pierce within 3 seasons. I think KG retired in 17. I don't know about Jason Terry. Yeah, he was they were done. They were long overdue. Traded for just 3 old heads and traded their entire future. So those future draft picks turned into, guess what? Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. We got a little special guest here, guys. Let's say what up to Herb. How you doing, buddy? Oh, all right. That's my new cat, Herbert. He's goated. All right, what was I saying? Those future draft picks turned into Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and then they used some of those future draft picks. They drafted Romeo Langford, who then they traded for Derek White, and then they had Marcus Smart, Rob Williams, who they traded and got, Drew and KP. Horford was there in 16, 17, 18. And then left and went to Philly for a year or 2 and then came back. People say he was a double agent. Low-key facts. So, just relatively fantastic roster, just development. So, you can't hate it. And because Smart and Robert Williams, they were defensive cornerstones. So, they gave up a lot. There was they said it was the biggest sacrifice they've made in recent history, which makes sense. But it paid off. And it was truly just a masterclass, a front office masterclass by the Boston Celtics. That's really the way you can put it. They just cooked in all aspects of front officing, period. Yeah. So, this ring was inevitable, in my opinion. What I said earlier, it's going to continue the precedent that the best teams are drafted, built, and tenured. Damn, I cannot speak right now. My bad, guys. Using all these big words. Nuggets in 23. Obviously, Jokic and Murray, long tenured Nuggets. And then they made timely trades for Gordon and KCP. And then they also drafted MPJ, I believe, right? Yeah, sounds something like that. But still, you get the point. The Warriors in 22. Obviously, they still had their trio of Draymond, Clay, and Curry, and then they drafted Poole and signed or traded for Wiggins. So, really, just long time Warriors, and then a couple timely additions to help their championship. 2021 Bucks, Giannis, long-time Buck. Chris Middleton, long-time Buck. They made some good trades. Obviously, they got Drew Holiday. They traded away Eric Bledsoe. So, definitely a very good trade, because where's Eric Bledsoe? If anyone can tell me where Eric Bledsoe is now, be my guest. So, yeah. The Raptors situation was weird. Obviously, they had a long tenured team with Kyle Lowry and DeRozan, and then they made a really timely trade with DeRozan to get Kawhi. And obviously that paid off. They got a championship, but it was only one season, so a bit odd situation there. But then, yeah, obviously the 2020 Lakers are like LeBron free agency, and then they traded the house for AD, so not super long tenured, but that 2020 Lakers team, man, miss those guys. Rest in peace. And then obviously 2017 Warriors is just get out of here. And I believe this is the era of parity in the NBA. There's never been a 6-year span where 6 different teams have won, which is crazy to think about, but it makes sense because NBA history is dominated by the dynasties and the franchises like the Lakers, Celtics, Warriors, Bulls, Spurs. It doesn't help, though, that obviously the Warriors, Lakers, and Celtics all won chips within this last 6-year span. But you still have the Bucks won their first ring since 1971. Nuggets won their first ring in franchise history. And Raptors won their first ring in franchise history. So lots of parity for now. Hoping the Celtics don't go on a three-peat. And also the best player in the world narrative, I think, is very interesting because in recent history, the Finals MVP has often been considered the best player in the world. So like last year, Jokic wins Finals MVP. Oh, unequivocally the best player in the world. I was saying, I'm probably still going to say it. No one has proven, like Luka's up there, but no one has proven themselves better than Jokic was last year at the moment. So Jokic is still kind of on that throne. And then 2021 Giannis, I was definitely saying 2021 Giannis was the best player in the world. I think a lot of other people were saying that. 2022, I think some Warriors fans were saying that. I wasn't saying Curry was I was putting Curry in top 5 for sure, maybe top 3. But no, not best player in the world. His time is up. And then 2020 Bron, I know I was definitely saying that shit. He's the best player in the world in 2020. Obviously, a lot of LeBron fans are going to say that, but a lot of people are going to disagree. And then 2019 Kawhi as well. I know I switch up a lot. 2019 Kawhi, just watching that Kawhi run and then the shot and then winning and beating the Warriors, like, oh, Kawhi Leonard, best player in the world right now. It's just recency bias as well. But this year, the Boston Celtics, they got, it's not the case this year because they're just such a well-rounded, balanced team that they don't have one superstar shining above the rest, claiming that title of best player in the world. So, all right, well, I think that's all I got for this episode. Yeah, it was a good one. Good to be back. Hope you guys like the ambiance back here. Might have to do some more nighttime episodes back here. But yep, it was a fantastic NBA season. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm still going to be making content. Don't worry. I'm not going to be gone forever. There's still USA basketball, and there's a lot of trade rumors in the offseason. Mikal Bridges just traded to the New York Knicks, the Villanova Knicks, like an hour ago. That was lit. I'm actually excited for that. I like that a lot for the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau got his all-time great Iron Man, Mikal Bridges, who plays every goddamn game. So that's going to be fun. And then, yeah, like and subscribe per usual. Share, comment, all of the above. The engagement helps with the algorithms, so show some love. I'd appreciate it a lot. And then I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in.